welcome to Real Truth. This is Howard Riell. You know, the motto that I've carried with me throughout my life is never do something if you can get someone else to do it for you. And that's what I'm going to do. Here's Sean Hannity on Fox News talking about the cabal, talking about the conspiracy going on in the Beltway in Washington, not only to defeat Donald Trump, but ultimately on a much grander scale to defeat you and me, to defeat the American people and keep us from choosing the president that we want to choose. It's an effort to take away our democratic freedoms. Here we go.
Next question, Monica, is they going to, cut their nose to spite their face? Are the establishment going to turn on the winner?
Well, many of them are. Many of them are quoted as saying that they would rather have Hillary Clinton.
They'll vote for Hillary Clinton
than Donald Trump or Ted Cruz, by the way. Look, and this is not a surprise. When I say that they fear Donald Trump, what they fear is that this guy is promising to come in and smash the existing order. That means all of their power, all of their control over the party, and their gravy trains, the special interests, all the big money that they get. He's promising to blow that wide open, which is what the American people want, at least the Republican voters who keep him on a winning trail.
Mercedes, if they're going to be that self-destructive, and they're going to pout, and they're going to pick up their little toys, and they're going to go home like a bunch of babies, they will destroy. There will be no Republican Party at the end of this. Because if they're successful, guess what? Cruz and Trump supporters are walking out, and I'm walking out with them.
Right.
My friends, now you know why I respect Sean Hannity. Among all the garbage on the major media, Hannity and a few others have been fair and objective and have not tried to torpedo Donald Trump. I've always respected Hannity, and he speaks for me. If the powers that be are going to seek to disenfranchise Donald Trump and us, and the voters, and the Republican base, well, they can kiss my ass. They can take their party and shove it. And if that means basically what amounts to Armageddon in the form of a Hillary Clinton presidency, then so be it. I will not have my democratic freedoms taken away from me. I will not have my vote taken away from me. And if the powers that be intend to do that, then I will have to dedicate myself legally at all times to bringing down that power structure and taking away their privilege and their wealth and their leverage over the American people. It simply is not acceptable. It simply isn't acceptable. If that were to happen, and if Trump were to go to a third party, I would stay with Trump and vote for the third party, because it would show that the Republican Party is bankrupt and it has now become the adversary of the American people. Item. From the Holy New York Times, Donald J. Trump's series of victories on Tuesday extended his delegate lead and forced Senator Marco Rubio of Florida out of the presidential race. Mr. Trump's path to winning enough delegates to secure the Republican nomination is not assured, but he's in a strong position. Here are some ways that the Republican nominating contest could unfold. If Mr. Trump maintains his current level of support in the remaining races, he would almost certainly secure the nomination. After Tuesday's contests, no other candidate retains a real chance of capturing the delegates required to win the nomination outright. Mr. Rubio dropped out, Governor John Kasich of Ohio is too far behind, and Senator Ted Cruz of Texas would need to win the vast majority of the remaining delegates, a near impossibility. But Mr. Trump still needs to win most of the remaining delegates to avoid a contested convention. If he continues his current performance and wins a series of key states like Arizona, California, and New York, he would get the needed delegates. Unquote. Item from World Daily Online. Headline: GOP establishment caught in secret plan to block Trump by electing Hillary. I quote, "We already knew the GOP establishment was against Republican frontrunner Donald Trump, but we had no idea it was this bad. In a bitter fight for its life, establishment GOP leaders have decided to block Donald Trump's nomination at all costs, even if it means losing the presidency to Hillary Clinton," says Roger Stone, co-author of the 2015 best-selling book The Clintons' War on Women and the recently published Jeb and the Bush Crime Family. "The big fix is in," said Stone, former advisor to Trump, in an interview with WorldNet Daily. Beware the big steal, he warned. The leaders of the GOP establishment plan to steal the nomination from Trump and to thwart the popular will, and they don't care if they lose. Trump threatens all the establishment GOP leaders' cozy deals. He's a threat to the lobbying class. He's a threat to the consultant class. He's a threat to the globalists. The GOP establishment would rather suffer through 4 years of Hillary, whose policies are indistinguishable from Marco Rubio's or Mitt Romney's, than have an outsider be president like Trump, who is beholden to no one, Stone insisted. Rubio has been given until Tuesday. If he doesn't win the Florida primary, the establishment GOP leaders have decided to dump Rubio in favor of drafting Mitt Romney, the GOP presidential nominee who lost to Barack Obama in 2012, Roger Stone explained. The GOP establishment's secret plan is to back Romney against Trump in the hopes of winning enough delegates in the primaries after Super Tuesday to block Trump on the first ballot at the GOP National Nominating Convention in Cleveland. If Trump does not win enough delegates to carry the nomination on the first ballot, there's no way he will be president, Stone stressed. On the second ballot, the GOP establishment figures enough delegates, including the 210 GOP superdelegates, can be pounded together to make Romney the GOP nominee in 2016. Stone argued the GOP establishment, as seen by the GOP leadership in Congress, would be as comfortable with the policies of Hillary Clinton as they've been caving into the policies of Barack Obama. If Romney loses to Hillary in the general election, that's fine with the GOP establishment, Stone continued. With Hillary as president, Mitch McConnell and Paul Ryan keep their jobs as the congressional heads of the GOP, and they actually have far more power under a Democratic president. The lobbyists supporting the GOP stay put, and the globalists' open borders crowd and control of the GOP establishment remain in power within the party. The GOP establishment knows if Rubio or Romney win the nomination will be worthless because the GOP will lose to Hillary in November, Stone elaborated. Stop! So the powers that be are willing to set America aflame, willing to watch it crumble, willing to watch democracy itself destroyed, just so they can hold on to power. My friends, that's what I call evil. That's what I call evil. It's up to you and me to stop it. It's Thursday. It's Real Truth. You know who I am. I'll be right back.
Howdy folks, have you ever thought about having your own backyard chickens? Now you have a source for certified organic, no GMO, no soy chicken feed. HappyHens.biz can even deliver, or you can pick up. Call me, Tim, at 303-829-5948, or go to happyhens.biz for pricing and ingredients. At happyhens.biz, we love happyhens.biz, or call us at 303-829-5948.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Tom Phillips, founder of the Green Herb. How many times have you gone into a health food store and are confused as to the many different brands and prices on the same herbal supplements? You want to buy the cheapest, but you're afraid the quality is less, so you buy the most expensive. Truth is, the cheapest may be better. Green Herb herbal supplements are all manufactured in our Wheat Ridge, Colorado plant at 4565 Kipling Street, using the highest quality herb that we source from all over the world. Our 150 different herbal supplements are the most potent and safest in America. Our guarantee is your money back, no time limit. Just return the bottle empty or full, no questions asked. So when you come to our new location, look for our new name, New Genesis Health, or call us at 888-765-HERB. That's 888-765-4372.
The Lord brings the counsel of the nations to nothing. He makes the plans of the people of no effect. The counsel of the Lord stands forever, the plans of his heart to all generations. Blessed is the nation whose God is the Lord, the people he has chosen as his own inheritance. Psalm 33, verses 10 through 12.
My friends, there's evil afoot. This is not conspiracy theory stuff. This is real life being played out on the national, international stage as documented by every media outlet out there. Let's go to Infowars.com. Alex Jones talking about exactly this conspiracy. The conspiracy to deny Donald Trump the presidency and to deny the American people our liberty. Here we go.
My friends, I've got some really serious tidings for you here today dealing with free speech in America. You know, they called the Patriot Act because it was incredibly unpatriotic and butchered much of the Bill of Rights and Constitution. I opposed it when George Bush and the Republicans and the Democrats working in concert did that. I also opposed it when Obama expanded it under the NDAA and openly said that he would arrest and disappear U.S. citizens or kill them anytime he wanted to, anywhere in the world. You see, the two political parties at the top are working together. And the Republican leadership officially came out in the Washington Post yesterday and said, we're going to take the nomination from Trump at the convention. They just said we're going to do it. And Hillary already stole it from Bernie Sanders. He was winning in New Hampshire and Ohio, and he was getting more votes, but they would just steal the delegates. It's been proven. Hillary said, yeah, they're mine. We have super delegates that take them, and we disregard your vote. So a lot of the supporters of Bernie are going, okay, well, she's better than Trump. Forget who's better than Trump or better than anybody else. They're openly stealing elections and saying they're going to do it in front of everyone. And then George Soros and MoveOn.org bragged last weekend that they were funding the foolish Bernie Sanders supporters that didn't understand that MoveOn works for Hillary to go to the Donald Trump rally and shut it down. They canceled it. And then Megyn Kelly and Fox News and everybody else said, it's Trump's fault there was violence when they started. Whether you love abortion or hate it, we went out to cover a Planned Parenthood protest 3 miles from where I'm sitting in the studio. And we'll put a link under this so you can see it on YouTube. And they would link arms and then run into us, say, excuse us coming through, and then accuse us to the police of attacking them. That's what Black Lives Matter does. I don't endorse the police state. I've always fought it, but you don't just randomly go shoot a cop in the back of the head because some other cop did something bad. This is all part of the destabilization of America. And now, the Democratic Spring has been launched by all these Democratic Party operatives. Al Gore, remember 4 years ago, called for a Democrat Spring here, like the Arab Spring? That whole violent overthrow? But the Muslim Brotherhood in charge of Egypt and what happened in Libya that Hillary's so proud of? This is horrible, folks. They are destabilizing the world right now, and they say they're organizing the campuses everywhere to go out and shut down Trump rallies everywhere, but also shut down other Republican events. That's like brown shirts in 1929, 1930, 31, 32, 33 for Hitler. I mean, this is so thuggish, and they call themselves the Democratic Spring to go out and block events and take over. They said we're going to set fires across the country, and it's very double-edged. Terrorizing free speech in this country. The elite are pulling out all the stops. And look, it's not that Trump's perfect. I have some issues with Trump at times. He does some things I don't agree with. But it is that he's a maverick. He is his own man. It really is true. He doesn't even listen to his own advisors. He doesn't even have advisors. And the elite can't stand that. They're absolutely fearful of it right now. And I'll say this, under Bush, we didn't have all the folks on YouTube and my own side trying to censor us. The left goes around doing all sorts of dirty tricks to us to try to shut down our free speech. You're not the left. I saw in Oregon State University a month ago, there's Martin Luther King quotes in the library, in the study hall, that says, one day on the mountain, all God's children together, black and white, yellow and brown, together. And they said, it doesn't mention women or gay people. It's just a generalization of all God's children, all of us. Now Martin Luther King isn't good. It's all about them ruling and them saying what language is okay. Missouri State is having a 25% enrollment down this year from all the craziness there. In Philadelphia, they're at a major college. The name of the hall is Lynch Hall, named after one of the benefactors. So it's an Irish name, but because it has an association with scares them. And I mean, folks, this is a cult, okay? Liberal professors, remember at Yale last year, go, listen, it's all on video. We sent an email out saying if people are having a Halloween party and you don't like the costumes, just don't go there. It's free speech. And they go, yeah, stop it! Yeah! And they got them fired. It's like body sectors going, ah, we got one there. I mean, Seinfeld's talking about it. Everybody is. Even Bill Maher. Is this really who you are? They're teaching young people who should be young adults how to be basket cases at these colleges. And now they're all freaked out and can't get jobs and have worthless college degrees because now all they do is take you into these dorm rooms and take you into these sensitivity training and scream at you because you're white or whatever. Nobody wants to be part of that. America is being collapsed because the globalists want us to collapse like Greece and other countries. They admit this in the IMF World Bank documents that got leaked in 2002 when Joseph Stiglitz left the World Bank. He was chief economist. He's been on many times. Nobel Prize winner. He deserved his for economics. And it's all how they divide a country, get you poor, collapse things, raise the taxes too high to pay to further collapse, and then after about a decade of that, the globalists come in and buy it all up for not even pennies on the dollar. There is a formula. There is a plan. People saying they're going to shut down free speech nationwide is not liberal. If you want to protest 50,000 people, I've been arrested repeatedly protesting when they do try to violate your rights in New York and Austin, you name it. Standing up for not having our identity stolen, against biometrics, against face scanning cameras, against license plate reading cameras, against the New York police arresting peaceful demonstrators. I've been arrested in New York, manhandled. That's wrong, to arrest protesters on the side of the street with signs. But you can't go into someone's event and run over people and start fights and jump on the stage and try to attack Donald Trump. You can't do that to Hillary Clinton. Imagine if people were doing this to Hillary Clinton. They'd say, they hate women, they're crazy, they're terrorists. Imagine when Obama was having rallies similar to Trump's. If people did that, they'd say it was wrong. Can we not agree on the First Amendment? We need to stage First Amendment rallies across the nation. They're not even about Trump, but they're about rediscovering basic freedom. The colleges and high schools are now re-education camps. Look it up for yourself. They're literally re-education camps, turning you into just screwed up mental patients. Nightly News is coming up tonight, 7 o'clock Central, PrisonPlanet.tv, InfoWarsNews.com.
All right, guys, there you have it. By all means, do go to Infowars.com. Do go to PrisonPlanet.com. The powers that be are colluding. They are, behind closed doors, planning to steal our right to vote, our right to select our own president. You saw the headline from yesterday. Individuals, voters, don't pick the nominee, the party does. Well, that's no kind of party I want anything to do with. What the GOP is doing is basically, when the day is over, extinctifying itself. No one wants to be part of a GOP party that wants to steamroll its own base. It makes no sense. And if they're willing to have Hillary Clinton be president, well, then they should go be Democrats. Because they don't represent me anymore. Or you, I'm betting. Item from InfoWars. Prominent Black Lives Matter activist and rapper Tef Poe has a message for, quote, white people. If Donald Trump wins the presidency, I quote, niggas will incite riots everywhere. Dear white people, if Trump wins, young niggas such as myself are fully hell-bent on inciting riots everywhere we go, just so you know, unquote, Poe tweeted today. First of all, I'm not comfortable with him using the N-word. Second of all, I don't like being threatened. What he's basically saying is that he and his compatriots are going to shut down our freedom of speech and of assembly. Well, that doesn't fly. Doesn't fly in this country. Why would you vote for the candidate who is supported by someone like this, who's willing to use thug tactics, brown shirt tactics, SS tactics, KGB tactics to get their person elected? Why would you want that candidate? Why would that candidate want people like this on her side? Well, in the case of Hillary Clinton, I know why, because she's also a thug. But it's un-American, and it's not to be tolerated. Item from Breitbart. Roger Stone went on to describe the process by which an embittered Republican establishment could use a convention fight to steal the nomination away from Trump, assuming his only serious remaining competitor, Senator Ted Cruz, is able to take enough delegates during the primary to force a convention fight. Stone predicted the rules would be changed to unbind the delegates from the first round of voting, at which most delegates are supposed to vote in accordance with the will of primary voters. He described this idea as, quote, the first step of the big steal, and possibly the trigger for a revolt of Republican voters against their own party establishment. A revolt's perfectly okay with the establishment because at the end of the day, they'd rather have Hillary Clinton than a nationalist who is unbeholden to any special interest like Donald Trump, Stone declared. The problem here is the lobbyists drive the train, and you can't peddle influence if you have no influence, he explained, citing a number of powerful GOP establishment figures who either have or anticipate lucrative careers as lobbyists. Quote, and nobody has any influence with Donald Trump other than the American people. There's nobody with an inside track, nobody who can say, well, Donald, you have to do this because I gave you $1 million. He's impervious to that kind of pressure, and that's what drives the establishment insane. Hillary Clinton, on the other hand, quote, is a crony capitalist, according to Stone. You can buy her for money. She'll do a deal. She believes in nothing whatsoever, unquote. My friends, the idea that a man would want to buy Hillary Clinton is as amazing and profoundly disturbing to me as it is to you. But in the Beltway, even that is possible. Item for the Institute for Justice. An investigation by Denver 7 ABC discovered the Denver Police Department has been using its forfeiture fund to pay for video editing equipment and enter a local Emmy competition. According to the report, more than $120,000 from that fund was used to buy equipment for DPD's Media Relations Unit, including an Apple desktop editing system, a MacBook Pro computer, and even spent $22,000 developing an app for iPhone and Android. Detective Nick Rogers, head of Denver's police union, criticized the spending as wasteful. Quote, we're spending that kind of money on videos that don't drop the crime rate, he said. Videos don't solve burglaries and robberies. That's our mission, and I think we've lost sight of that, unquote. The unit also used $2,460 to pay for memberships to the National Academy of Television Arts and Sciences and to submit entries to a local Emmy competition. That money was requested under cost of training class, according to the investigation. Deputy Chief Matt Murray argued that, quote, using the proceeds of crime to become the gold standard in communication by law enforcement is truly, I think, a great thing, unquote. Rogers disagreed. Quote, winning an Emmy is a self-promotion, self-gratification type of situation that has nothing to do with getting better at your profession, unquote. Item from Politico. Dateline Phoenix, Arizona, leading liberals and progressive groups are turning their gaze away from the Democratic primary and towards efforts to unite the left against Donald Trump, framing him as a dangerous and unprecedented candidate who poses an existential threat to the progressive movement and the nation. Ad campaigns are in the works. There are calls for massive voter mobilizations and screeds from leading donors circulating within the liberal circles. Major labor groups are organizing their members on the ground in swing states. Within the Democratic Party apparatus, top elected leaders are beginning to speak out both collectively and individually in ways that reach beyond standard presidential year posturing. The sense of urgency in some corners of the left is high enough that Massachusetts Senator Elizabeth Warren, a progressive icon who's gone to great lengths to avoid being part of the Democratic presidential conversation in 2016, hinted on Monday she might soon get involved with the effort to stop Trump. Stop! What's going on here? All the polls I hear about on TV are telling me that Trump would be easy for Hillary to beat. Do you mean those were all lies? Do you mean those polls were nonsense? Do you mean the obvious truth is really true? That Trump would squash Hillary like a bug? Yes. That is what it means, because Trump would squash Hillary like a bug. And that's one of the many reasons we need Trump. I'll be back.
Howdy, folks. Have you ever thought about having your own backyard chickens? Now you have a source for certified organic, no GMO, no soy chicken feed. HappyHens.biz can even deliver, or you can pick up. Call me, Tim, at 303-829-5948 or go to happyhens.biz for pricing and ingredients. At happyhens.biz, we love happyhens.biz or call us at 303-829-5948.
Great Plains Power has been providing reliable electrical power systems in the Rocky Mountain area since 1992. Our systems rely on the sun to help make you self-reliant for your power needs. Solar energy can be scaled to fit any situation, from complete power independence to backup power for the short term. Our expertise focuses on standalone power, but we have extensive experience with utility interactive systems as well. Custom-tailored capabilities as modest emergency lighting all the way to commercial-scale power. Great Plains Power is a full-service company. We service everything we sell. We provide and design turnkey packages, custom-designed system, and parts for do-it-yourself. With more than 20 years of specialized experience at your disposal, let us know what your power concerns or goals are. Reach us by phone or the internet. Call 303-239-9963. That's 303-239-9963. Or go to greatplainssolar.com. And the Word became flesh and dwelt among us, and we beheld his glory, the glory as of the only begotten of the Father, full of grace and truth. John bore witness of him and cried out, saying, This was he of whom I said, He who comes after me is preferred before me, for he was before me. The Gospel of John, chapter 1, verse 14 and 15. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, that to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men, deriving their just power from the consent of the governed. This is the America News Network. Since the uniform people in Greeley ask everyone to get involved in our community this holiday season, whether it's a toy for a needy child, care package for military members, or giving the gift of life by giving blood, you can make a difference and directly affect someone else's life. This message is from Centus, the uniform people in Greeley. Call 352-2233. They're on the air because they care. Named one of the most admired outsourcing companies in America. Centus.
All right, guys, welcome back to Real Truth. Howard Riell continuing with the theme of the day, of the week, of the year, the power elite's attempt to confiscate our freedom, to confiscate our votes, and steal the presidency. Here's a colleague of mine, maybe you heard of him. His name is Rush Limbaugh, weighing in. Here we go.
It is apparent, that's not apparent, it's abundantly clear that the Republican establishment, all these reports we've had prior to today about them being in panic, have not even gotten close to reality. The panic is real today. They are acting as though their own very future is at stake today. And they have decided that the future of the Republican Party, as you know it and love it, hangs on what happens in Ohio. Meaning John Kasich, in their view, had better win this thing. Now keep in mind, Kasich doesn't have a prayer of becoming the nominee. He doesn't have a prayer. If John Kasich thinks he's going to become the nominee in a contested convention, he's got another thing coming. If it gets to that point, can I tell you who I think they're going to make president or make the nominee? If all this happens as they want it to, remember now, we've got a guy on the Republican committee, the Convention Committee, Rules Committee, writing today in the Daily Caller that first ballot delegates are not bound to vote for the candidate that won their state's primaries. Everybody's thinking that that's the rule. And on the first ballot, that's why primaries matter. That's why this number of 1,237 delegates matters. Whoever gets there is automatically the nominee. This guy writes a piece today saying, no, that's not the case. Delegates can vote whoever they want on any ballot. Oh, really? Yeah, he says, yeah, but 76 is the only time that this was actually put into 76. Yeah, that's when they denied Reagan. So I'm just telling you, if they succeed in this, if they succeed in denying Trump or Cruz 1,237 delegates by the end of the primary process, I'm here to tell you Jeb Bush is going to be the nominee. That's what they're going to do. That's what they've always wanted. And Jeb himself said, back on December 14th of 2014, when this whole process started, Jeb said that his strategy was to lose the primaries and win the nomination. And everybody said, what? How are you going to do that? And the answer, we got money. He's going to outspend everybody. He's going to whittle the field. He's going to show the rest of the field they can't compete with him financially. He's going to split the conservative vote by having all these conservatives in the race. They're not going to have a prayer. And Jeb's going to be the coalition favorite. He's going to have all the money, and that's that. And what they meant was, Jeb's going to win the nomination without having to kowtow to Republican Tea Party base voters, meaning Jeb's not going to have to talk about abortion. Jeb's not going to have to talk about immigration. Jeb's not going to have to talk about any of these things that matter. He's going to win the nomination nevertheless. And it may well yet happen. If not Jeb, they'll go Romney. But if Kasich thinks it's going to be him, and I don't doubt that he does, that's why he wants to win Ohio and stay in. And now there's talk that Rubio will stay in, even if he loses Florida. And Rubio and Kasich have both said that they are rethinking their pledge to support the nominee that came as recently as a week ago. Isn't that why Trump has supporters in the first place? Because so many Republicans make promises and they then break them? So the fur is flying and the establishment's making one last gasp here.
That's exactly right. That's a good description. They're making one last gasp. Here is Greta Van Susteren with Laura Ingraham on Fox News talking about the same thing. Here we go.
Another dominant night for Donald Trump as he moves closer to securing the GOP presidential nomination. The Republican establishment is trying to sabotage their own front runner. Radio talk show host and star, and editor-in-chief of LifeSet, Laura Ingram's here. Laura, nice to see you.
Good to see you.
What do you make of the Republican Party, with the elites, or whoever we want to call these people who don't like Donald Trump?
I worked for President Reagan, and in the Reagan White House we had people like Pat Buchanan, Jim Baker, we had Peggy Noonan, we had Don Regan, we had people from thank you, I was a kid, but you had people from all wings of the party, all sections of the party, and it worked. And why can't that happen again? And for everyone, I'm saying that Trump is Reagan. No, I'm saying you put together the coalition that you have that can win the day. And so I know a lot of people are like, well, Cruz is the best, or Rubio should have been it, or Jeb. I get that. I understand that there's, perfect is the enemy of the good at some point. I think conservatism should be about making people's lives better, liberty, the Constitution, and yet we have disagreements in the movement about how to get there.
All right, I think the Republican Party, if we had these so-called elites, I don't know who they are, but if we have them sitting here, they would say the problem with nominating Donald Trump is he can't win in November. It's probably what they would say, plus the fact he has lit them on fire.
It seems that they're more worried that Donald Trump is actually going to win in November, and they're worried that because of their posturing, their positioning, they might not have the influence they once had. And what I'd say to all of them is, let's make the country better. Let's make this whole process better. Work with the guy, or if it's Cruz, work with Cruz. Whoever it is, put together a winning coalition of interests of people. But you can't. I think you can't go forward and say, stomp your feet and say, I'm going to take all my marbles, I'm going to go home. Then just say, I prefer Hillary. Just say, I'd rather have Hillary win than have a group of conservatives together working for the betterment of the nation. I think that's what Reagan did in his White House. He took George H.W. Bush, whom he did not want on his ticket because the establishment was not happy. They were very angry. It worked. They put together a great team that moved forward.
Are they fighting Trump, some of the Republicans, because they're sort of it hurts them personally if they become president.
I think, yeah.
Is there money involved in like special interests, lobbyists,
I think
all
people
that
have
stuff?
people have different
Self-interest
different
is what I'm
interests.
looking for.
People have different self-interests. Some of it is just an ideological a series of differences. That's fine, but I think in the end we have to ask ourselves, if we're conservatives, we have to say to ourselves, okay, we did this set of policies for the past 15 years. Immigration, trade, foreign policy. We lost in 2006, we lost in 2008, we lost in 2012. We had the Tea Party Revolution, which was the most exciting thing to happen since 2004 when Bush won. What do we do now? Do we just keep doing the same policies that got us into a big hole? Or do we decide we're going to move forward with a new coalition with better trade deals, not no trade, not protectionism, but better trade deals, a smarter, more pragmatic foreign policy, and immigration that actually betters the lives of everyday average people? I think if they can get together and they can compromise a little bit on these issues, I think the sky's the limit for the Republican Party. But not
That's the tragedy, my friends. The sky could indeed be the limit for the Republican Party, and they are shooting themselves in the foot because the powers that be want that power. And they know that even if America goes up in flames, they'll retain their power. So they're willing to disregard the GOP, willing to disregard democracy, willing to disregard their base, willing to disregard America, just so that these individuals, can hold on to their little piece of the pie. It's obscene, it's disgusting, and in any civilized country, it would be criminal. We'll be back. Alright guys, all done. Please share this video. If you're in a state that has a primary or caucus coming up, vote Trump. You know that by now. And I will see you on Monday. Stay safe, stay healthy, and stay angry.